Hi, my name is Jackie. I'm a gallery guide here at the Guggenheim Museum. The Guggenheim's Tannhauser collection explores early modernist artworks made between the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when artists were moving away from traditional ways of working and experimenting with new methods and contemporary subject matter. Included in the collection is an immense landscape painting in a thick gilded frame called the Hermitage at Pontoise by the French artist Camille Pissarro. Pissarro lived in Pontoise off and on between 1866 and 1882, and it became the subject of a few of his large-scale paintings. In this view, painted around 1867, a winding path leads to a village sitting at the base of a hill called the Hermitage. Characteristic of the period, Pissarro painted with relaxed brushstrokes and colors pulled directly from nature. But his rendering of the natural effects of light and his portrayal of modern rural life represents a departure from the romanticized qualities of landscape painting that were conventional at the time, and it anticipates some of the key themes of Impressionism that Pissarro would soon play a pivotal role in developing. Surrounded by a wide, concave frame that highlights the painting's depth, the picture feels like a living space we could step into. This made me think of the question, how do frames shape the way we experience art? I saw this painting in person for the first time at the Guggenheim, and the frame stuck out to me because its gilded, ornate design would have felt natural at the annual Paris salons of the period, but it contrasts with the museum's modern architecture. The juxtaposition with the space highlights the features of the frame's design and its relationship with the painting, like the way the grooved lines, punctuating the border, emphasize the rhythmic application of Pissarro's brushstrokes, or the way the surface of the canvas is activated by the delineation of light and shadow that is echoed in the way light behaves on the surface of the frame. The frame also puts the work in its place in history. A picture of ordinary rural life like this one would have been radical at the time because it portrays ordinary people living average, even leisurely lives at a time when leisure was reserved for the upper classes. His choice to paint it with such a devotion to immediately observable detail feels like an attempt to elevate the lives of regular people and legitimize them as subjects worthy of high art. That would have been important to Pissarro because he believed strongly in class equality. By providing that historical context, the frame connects the viewer more deeply to the story behind the painting. Since he lived and painted in Pontoise for almost 20 years, I like to imagine that Pissarro would appreciate that this frame is still enriching the viewer's connection with the work over 100 years later, putting us in his shoes and letting us experience the countryside as intimately as he experienced it. A window into this tranquil setting is an especially welcome respite from a world that feels so chaotic and disconnected right now.